Friday afternoon. It is 57 degrees. It's a cold, but it's global cooling today. We had global warming yesterday. Hey, Laura.
Oh, good morning, Danny. How are you? I guess it's afternoon, but how are you doing?
We'll be able to say good morning again next week.
Yeah, that's right. We're going back to the mornings next week.
We're going back to mornings, and then I'll be back in the afternoons.
Yeah.
No
For an
rest.
encore performance.
That's right. No rest for the weary.
That's for sure. No rest for the windy is what you should say
Lord
today.
of mercy.
Holy
John-
winds of wild.
Larry Newman's not here today. He's over in the parking lot at AutoZone. His wig blew off.
Yeah, but see, it's the same setting as Chuck had it today. Stay right there, I'll mess with you.
Sorry. I was trying to straighten Josh out. He's a troublemaker, I tell you he is.
He's the technical director is what he is.
He's awesome, I tell you
Yeah,
that.
thank goodness for him.
57 degrees right now. We topped that at 70 earlier today. Lauren Lehman is in the house, and ain't no doubt. And look at this. Dr. Mark Fowler is here. Hey, Doc.
Hey, Dan, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Doc sent over a list of subjects that he'd like to get, and I was like, every one of those is going to be a lot of fun to get into today.
Thank you.
A list of subjects. Now that's a good guess.
I'm going to
Right?
shoot that to you. Absolutely is. And he said, very kind, he said, would it be okay, something like that, if I may suggest we cover these topics? I thought, man, he's awesome.
Love it.
Yeah, Doc, I had so much fun with you the other day. You're well-informed and a very good communicator, and you're entertaining as well.
No, thank you, Dan. You're very kind, and I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for coming back.
I'm glad to be here.
And just met Laura Lehman. Laura and I have been together at least one day a week for several years, right?
Yeah, almost. We're working on 7. We're working on 7
7 years, Doc.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the young guy here. You're the rookie.
Yeah.
Now, Laura, don't rough him up too much.
I'll try not to. I'm usually pretty nice to people, as you can recall.
I do recall that. I do. Well, it's Union City. Let's start there with you and your drive-in because we've had a lot of damage.
Woo.
Laura's got a new trampoline now.
Exactly.
It landed in her yard. I got to
Blew
tell
into
you,
my backyard this morning.
JP Stovall. JP, you need to get on the blower because he posted a little bit ago that he's missing a trampoline.
Oh, well, I know where it is. In my backyard.
Laura just put the one that landed in her backyard at Facebook Marketplace, so you can buy it back. So, Doc,
Exactly.
what's it like driving in?
Very windy.
Yeah.
A lot of limbs down, some power down here and there. Lots and lots of flooding, particularly toward the Obion River.
Oh, wow.
Yes, jeez. Hey, Josh, how's that, by the way? Can you come back in here? He's our chief technology officer. He's.
Technology.
I'm not kidding you. This, Melissa, can you hear me? She showed me a story she was reading that Ron Jeremy has early onset dementia. He's in prison, and I was shocked that she knew who he was.
It is a little bizarre.
It just lets me know that you don't have to address any of this, Doc, but it's because he was a celebrity, really one of the first, we'll say, adult film actors,
Yeah, there you go.
acting, to go kind of mainstream. And now he's in prison for, I guess, a date rape drug similar to America's father, Bill Cosby.
Oh, goodness.
And she showed me a picture of us. She said, look at this. I said, who's that? She said, your brother, isn't it? I had no idea who it is. She told me, but early onset dementia.
Wow, that's too bad.
Yeah, yes. The world has lost a great mind, I tell
Yeah, he's
you.
going to forget all the crazy stuff he ever did, I guess.
Memories pressed between the pages.
Of his legs.
His wife. We're going to run down. You can go to our Facebook page. We want you to send over your photos. Is Josh out there really?
He's out
You get
there.
an update on the set. Doc, we get a lot of new equipment. We've upgraded everything.
Yeah.
The technology is awesome when it works.
When it works.
When it works.
He says it's good.
the sound is good, Josh, on the.
No. He says, no, it's not.
Okay, well, that's not my fault. So,
You're just the talker, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Let's start out with this. Laura, get us up to date with where you've been, and we'll get right into some subject matter because I'm going to look at these settings, and we've got a lot to talk about today. Hey, we got a lot to talk about as we head into the weekend.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, we're going to be out at Jackson Southside. Is the Lady Hawks will host Murfreesboro Central Class AAA Girls Substate. Southside is 30-0.
Woo. You gotta
Lordy.
love that for a
You
record.
cover high school sports at all?
No, but that 30-0 is formidable.
Yeah, that's formidable.
What's going
all
on
right.
with that Mississippi State logo there?
Well, this is a gift from my youngest daughter, who was an undergraduate in Mississippi State and is now a senior in medical school at UT Memphis.
Well,
Yeah.
Where did you go to school?
I went to UT Martin,
Okay.
and then I went to medical school at UT Memphis.
All right. Okay. There's quite a few Mississippi State alum in this area. And Ole Miss as well.
Yeah.
So-
Well, Mississippi State is a beautiful, beautiful campus. A lot of people down there. They've spent a lot of money, and she got a great education. So.
I've got to read a text just come in here. And I can't. Laura, help me with this. Doc,
All
you
right.
may be able to. If this is a medical professional trying to look out for me or trying to be a funny, I don't know, because I'm a big fan of this guy. He's very talented. You know Dr. Peter Gardner?
Yeah.
You know him?
I know of him, yeah.
Yeah, he's my doctor. He's nice looking guy, full head of hair, especially at his age. Doc, I'm kidding. Let's see. He said on the text, like, Dear Dan, what? Physicians Quality Care is closed. Is that right, Doc? Because I think he meant physicians. Hey, Doc, it came out Physicians Quality Care closed.
Oh, good. Positions, quality care. Whatever they do there. Really.
Were they out of power?
And
Yeah, there's a lot of places out of power, that's for
Oh,
sure.
okay.
Yeah.
just closed for today because of the power outage.
Yeah.
It's a great place, Physicians Quality Care. And he was listening to the headlines. He said, watch out now. Apparently there's a correlation between lifestyles and dementia.
Now that's funny.
I wouldn't say anything else.
Don't want that fate to befall you.
That's
That's a
funny.
good one.
That's funny, Doc.
Yeah.
He's got a great sense of
Thanks,
humor.
doctor.
Yeah, that's hilarious, Doc.
Thank you, doctor.
No, he is a great American. You know Dr. Gardner?
I don't believe I do. I'm not sure that I do.
Yeah, great guy. And you say you do know Dr.
Yeah, I know
Gardner.
of him. I sure do.
Okay. Yeah, it's Physicians Quality Care here in Jackson over just off of Pleasant Plains Extended. I believe the official.
Yeah.
And the columns and then in Milan as well.
Oh, nice.
They got a movie. You ever been there? They got a movie theater in there.
Where's that?
At Physicians
Oh,
Quality Care in
yeah.
Jackson.
Really?
Yeah, it's a different experience for the
They have a
patients.
little library for
Wow.
while you're waiting. They have
Yeah.
a little kids play area. They've got a little movie theater you can hang out and they watch, they show shows and little tiny
That's
movies, little
brilliant.
movies.
Yeah,
It's
that
really
is.
cool.
That's great.
It's beautiful.
I get PO'd when they call me back to see the doctor because I'm right in the middle
Yeah,
of
I'm sorry.
right in the middle
the
of something.
commercial maybe.
right in the middle of Andy Griffith.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's a little theater set up there, and they got on the outside, like now playing.
Yeah.
And so I'll go in there and get into maybe it's an Andy Griffith rerun.
Yep.
And halfway through it, and here comes Ernest T. Bass out there. And I'm going, this is going to be funny. And they said, the doctor will see you now. I said, tell him to wait, okay?
I'll get him on the next,
That was
on the
pretty,
next segment.
pretty brilliant concept.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a great marketing concept.
That's the way he is. Dr. Gardner and Dr. Jimmy, they're both brilliant
Yeah.
people. Great operation, I got to say. What were we going to get into? Doc,
I
here we
know
go
you were really
again. You need to
excited
check me
about
out.
something.
Yeah. Yeah. I was excited about something. I just can't remember what it is.
Uh-oh, it's starting. Uh-oh.
I actually stopped to see what she's talking about. It is 3:26. It's Rod Woodson past the hour.
Nice.
We got to get a timeout. When we come back, we'll get right into the program. You can join us as we broadcast from the Gene Langley Ford Studio in Jackson. This beautiful studio, pardon me,
Getting better every day.
Well, it
too.
is. We have. It's climate controlled in here. We get a thermostat. And
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Remember back in the day, those old photos with businesses that would actually market that, put it on the windows, climate control in the middle of the summer, air conditioning, they would say. Boy, if we ran it, how long would it take, Doc, if a country, a hacker or a terrorist operation took out the power grid? We may be able to make it without air conditioning in August, but I don't think we make it 5 minutes without Wi-Fi.
No, that's probably
Yeah.
true. I'll tell you a story. When I was a kid in elementary school, my parents bought a brand new house in Memphis, Tennessee, and it had no air conditioning whatsoever. And for a couple of years,
boy.
Yeah, for a couple of years, we didn't have any air conditioning. Now, we survived it. I don't think it was very pleasant, but particularly in August, but we survived it.
People were tougher. I got to tell they were tougher back then, don't you think?
Yeah.
Well, I think they just didn't expect everything would be climate controlled everywhere they go. Now it's like if you go into a store and it's not, 50 degrees during the summer in the stores, people are complaining, right? Because it's just there's an excess of climate control going on these days. I think I really noticed that when I moved to Tennessee. I'm mostly from Colorado, and when I got to Tennessee and we'd go out to lunch, I got to get my Tennessee jacket, right? Like I got to get a jacket to go inside in the summer because it's so cold.
I can see that.
But it's so hot here. I mean, it is so hot here in the summer, and it starts right away in the springtime. I can already see there's already stores you go into and you can feel they have their air conditioning on, and it's March. It's March 3rd, for God's sakes. But yeah.
And so, she obviously is not from here originally. Did you grow up here in West Tennessee?
Yes, fundamentally I did. Mhm.
Well, I remember when I was a kid, I don't know why I remember this, because sometimes I can't remember, things that just happen that I can't find my remote control. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I don't know what I've done with my cigarette lighter is a big problem. And evidently, the American Cancer Society's campaign against smoking is working, because I'm shocked when I find someone, when I say, pardon me, do you mind if I use your cigarette lighter? They say, I don't smoke.
Yeah.
Because 10, 20 years ago, everybody did.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's vaping. I don't mean to make a total
That's
value
true.
judgment on the whole world, but there are so many people vaping now. I work at the tavern on Tuesday nights. I do tarot card readings at the tavern, and I used to come home with my clothes just reeking of cigarette smoke, right? Lately, I come home and my clothes aren't smelling, and I'm like, well, everyone's in the
They
bar.
smell-
They're all
pleasant.
smoking, but they're all vaping.
It's like purple
right?
haze.
Yeah, now it smells like Fruit Loops, right?
By the way, Doc, Fruit Loops, I was under the impression that Fruit Loops were real fruits.
No.
No.
Artificial dyes and artificial flavors,
Jeez, okay.
most of which are carcinogenic, I'm sure.
Exactly,
Okay.
absolutely, 100%. I'm with you, Doctor.
Dr. Gardner, you're right. I was wrong on that one. He was saying I needed to eat more healthy. I said, dude, I eat Fruit Loops all the time. He said, what? I thought he was just trying to get over on me. But
What
okay.
man in his 50s eats Fruit Loops, right?
And, well, we're guys, okay.
Oh, okay,
No,
okay.
no, I'm like, the point is, you don't understand. When guys eat cereal, we don't eat cereal like a normal human being.
Right.
It's the biggest stinking bowl we can find. We don't. Well, I can eat a whole box in one sitting, and I won't eat cereal unless it turns the milk a different color.
Of course.
You like that, Doc?
No.
No.
He's sophisticated.
I'm
Are
a-
you from England originally?
Well, no, but I spent a year in England.
I knew it.
I studied over there. Yeah.
What did you study?
I studied history and political science
Wow.
at Birmingham University. Had a
Do
great
you
time.
still have friends over there?
Yes. Mhm.
Can I get some phone numbers? Because here, I almost did it earlier this week. Almost called England and said, look, because we've had a bad run here, Is it too late? Will you take
Will you
us?
take us
Will you
back?
take us back?
Take us back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're in a bit of a bind themselves.
Yeah.
Their debt is out of control, and the social culture is collapsing, and Now, Scotland would be the place to go. I was in Scotland in October.
So I haven't been there. What'd you think?
Oh, it's amazing. Amazing.
Is it as green as I think it is?
It is. It is. We went in October. I went pheasant hunting up there, and we had a fantastic time. Stayed in an old mansion house built in the 15th century, which had been remodeled, of course. But it's a beautiful place, and clean and nice, and the people were so nice. And
What now? Is it the first trip to Scotland?
that's my first year.
So why'd you pick Scotland? I guess it's a good place to hunt pheasants.
It is. It is.
But geez, why don't you just go to like Huntingdon?
Well, I don't know if you can hunt pheasants in Huntingdon. And you certainly can't stay in a 15th century castle in there.
Sure.
No, so that had something to do with it. I guess the hunting just didn't match the landscape, did it?
No, the hunting is an old cultural class thing.
It is.
And it's kind of interesting. The shooters are formerly were the landed aristocracy. And then there's a second class of dog handlers, and they are very skilled, and they handle these beautiful, beautiful Labrador retrievers. And then there are the pushers, or the beaters, who push the birds up from wherever it is they stay, and they fly around, and we shoot them.
Wow.
You know, by the way, Trey, if you're listening, you're not going there either. We got a mutual friend. Multiple mutual friends, Doc and I do. Trey Clink's one of those, and he called me up a few weeks ago and said, "Hey, if you'd be interested, I think I've got some very interesting guests I think you really like." And I said, "Well, sure." And he called. He said, "Okay, Dr. Mark Fowler." I said, "Never heard of him." He said, "Well, he's the first one." And I was like, I called Trey back. I said, "Trey, dude, I didn't think you had it in you." And but thank you, Trey. And he enjoyed that show.
Yeah. Well, we went. I've been duck hunting with him a time or two.
Yeah, he tried to bully his way into one of Doc's hunts this week, and it didn't happen. Didn't happen before he did, Trey. So from the text line, our Advanced Rehab and Medical text line. You can text the program at 731-800-TEXT, 731-800-8398. Advanced Rehab and Medical. Dr. Shannon Bone is ranked in the top 10 for chiropractors on planet Earth. That's pretty stout. Earth is
Yeah,
dead.
it is. Yeah, Earth is a big place.
AdvancedRehabJackson.com, AdvancedRehabJackson.com. This text comes in and says, "Dear Dan, can you check with the doctor's office to see in the movie theater if there's any..." Jeez. I'm not going to read that. Don't send any Ron Jeremy text asking if a Ron Jeremy movie is playing in the theater at the stinking doctor's office.
With all the kids, come
I
on.
was afraid they were going to go.
I'm not going to read them. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Sorry.
Juvenile. See, people trying to be funny.
I know.
This man just went pheasant hunting in Scotland, for God's sake. But you've been in West Tennessee long enough to know that this sort of thing happens, right? These juvenile sort of attacks, right?
Yes.
Thank God, because I was hoping it wouldn't be a bad reflection on me and Laura.
Yeah, you can't help what comes in. You can't help what comes
That's
in.
exactly right.
And we're not going
Doctor.
to read them.
That's
I'm going to go ahead
right.
and tell you. Do not send any more Ron Jeremy texts asking if a Ron Jeremy movie is playing at the doctor's office, because we're not going to read them. See, I go to anger management, but I'm going to tell you, I get mad having to drive down there. So I'm not sure it's working, Laura.
It doesn't seem good. Yeah,
It
that
does
doesn't-
seem like it's working.
That doesn't seem very good.
And I tell you, I am so tired.
Aw, are you not sleeping, or are you just not going to bed?
Yes. Will you keep it down, because Melissa can hear and she will fact check right on the air. Melissa said no, it's basketball tournament, region tournament.
Oh, yeah, well, that makes sense. Yeah.
But man, I've been loving doing those games.
Yeah.
And did I even get through the story about the leaky roof at Chester County?
Now you got halfway through.
See, that's how I am right now. I'm overtired.
Too much
It's the
caffeine.
wind, maybe. The wind kind of messes with our brains. How about that? We want to blame it on the wind.
It blew my wig off earlier, and I just got back in time for the show. And I'm out of breath. It was it blew over in the mall,
Oh,
parking
okay.
lot. Yeah. And so, the Chester County. So, Jackson Southside girls. Are you a sports fan?
Not really, no. Apart from hunting.
I didn't know that. Trey, you didn't tell me that. It's great seeing you, though, Doc. We're out of time here.
That's it.
No,
Chester
So-
County, the roof started leaking.
what about it? No, I'm with you. So they've been hosting the region tournament, 6 AAA. Boys and girls. And Wednesday night, we have the Jackson Southside Hawks, 29-0, ranked number 1 in the state, against South Gibson Lady Hornets. And those two teams have played 3 times already this year, Doc. 2 regular season games and in the championship game of the district tournament at South Gibson. The first game at South Gibson, it was a 3-point win for South Side. Closest anybody's played them this year. I mean, the South Side is a juggernaut. They've got great players, great coaches. They're deep. It's really fun to watch it all play out. It's just, folks, you need to see them play. If you haven't seen this team play, because there's seniors on this team, it's a program. They're going to be good every year. But every once in a while, it comes together like this, where you got a great coach in Brent McNeil and great players, and you need to see them. If you don't, you'll regret it. Because South Gibson, Doc, is ranked in the top 10 in the state.
Yeah.
After playing them close that first time, the next time it was a rented mule. And then in the district championship game, it was a rented mule, borderline government mule, and that's as bad as it gets.
Right.
It was a full-fledged government mule in the region championship game. It was a close 9-point Southside lead with 4 minutes left in the first half. Terrible weather, and somehow a leak that just happened to be right over center court. And so they had stopped the game.
That's
and
crazy.
That's terrible.
and because this is playing out just like this, Laura and Doc, all across the state. A lot of teams, and he's on a time schedule because sub-state is tomorrow night, and then the state tournament next week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Brandon Pipkin, I got to tell you, he was the tournament director, athletic director there at Chester County, and he's also a member of the TSSAA. This guy made a split-second decision. Got on the blower, called Freed Hardeman, and said, "Hey, clear the gym out. We're coming over." I'm sure you'd say
Wow.
like that.
That gave me goosebumps.
Yes.
That's cool.
And they
That's
said,
really
"Come on."
cool.
And they get on the microphone and say, "We're going to resume the game at 8:15
Yeah.
at Freed Hardeman University.
Wow.
Everybody get out of here."
And did they do it?
That's
Yes.
crazy.
Fantastic.
I broke the equipment down.
I've never heard of anything like that.
No. It's,
Wow.
You in this business, you stand it long enough, you see everything.
Yeah, obviously.
Tore the equipment down, ran over to Freed Hardeman University,
Wow.
went in. I was like, "Do you guys have internet that I can plug into?" Because they said, "Well, most people just use a cell phone." I said, "You ever heard most people? It sounds like they're on a telephone calling a game. You want to know why?" He said, "Why?" Because they're on a telephone.
Exactly. Come on, people.
We've got state-of-the-art equipment. I've got to have dedicated Cat 5 cable, man.
Wow.
And he said, "Yeah, well, yeah, we do have." They were really nice at Freed. Set up in the, I think they called it the crow's nest.
Oh, yeah.
And I've got heavy equipment. Look, I'm strong. I work out. You probably can tell. But I said, "How do you get up there?" He said, "Those steps."
Oh, no.
I said, "You got to be kidding me here."
no.
And so I get up there, we get it set up, and we get on the air because what we use gives us studio quality.
Right.
Right.
And bam, just as the second half started, right on time.
Oh, that
Me and the
is
G
nuts.
units, and
Wow.
a close game turned into a 70 something to. It's a 31-point win.
Wow.
I tell you, this team is special. And South Gibson fans don't give up on the Lady Hornets. They're in the sub-state as well. Both those teams go.
Good, good.
South Gibson has hit the road to Creekwood, and I expect them to win. I think both those teams will be in the state tournament in the same district.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's.
I've never heard of
fantastic.
anything like that, stopping in the middle of the game and
I
doing
know.
it at a different
That's-
location.
That's American
Oh, my
ingenuity
goodness.
right there.
That is.
And that was I thought that was a real leader there because
That was an aggressive, aggressive call, right?
Because Brandon had to make a decision,
Save
and he
the
made
day.
it quickly. That's
He
what
saved the day.
when umpires make a call. Hey, they're going to miss some, but if they make it emphatically, I'm good with it. If they struggle, that's right. All right, I'm rambling. I think, Doc. We're going to get on track when we come back here. And Josh, we're good, right? What's the problem with that?
AWOL.
How many different settings did you try? I'm sorry, we got to do this on the air because it's the only way we know.
right.
How many different settings did you try? Sue, okay, now watch this. Are you listening right now? I bet you this is going to be really weird here, folks. Hang with us because we got stand by for news because it's only happening on this program. Noticed.
It's not
That doesn't
me.
seem fair.
I know
How
it's
about
not
now?
me.
How about now? How about now? Okay, there's no audio at all there now. Maybe I was wrong.
Oh,
All I did was change the profile to I can't do this show with Walker Talks with Chuck Walker in the background. I refuse to.
no way, man. We are not doing that.
No way. Ain't gonna do it. I'm kidding. That's not a big deal. Chuck, it's your lucky day. They're gonna think that I'm you. You probably get some friend requests.
And I'm the lovely Julie Holt.
Will you call? Let's see. Doc, I'm going to
Take
tell
a
you,
break.
normally I've got my stuff together.
That's
Don't
right.
leave.
I know, I'm
I'll be
fine.
okay. Dr. Gardner, can you come down here? I need you to take my blood pressure. Okay. It's a good thing we can laugh, right, Laura?
Yeah, what a good
It's
thing.
a good thing we can laugh.
Yeah.
We're going to take a time
You
out.
take a break.
We're going to come back. I'm going to try to talk Dr. Mark Fowler and Laura into staying, and we're going to have a good time. We've got a lot to cover. When we come back, the doctor sent over some very good subjects to cover,
Excellent. Let's get on
including
that.
the Murdaugh.
The Murdaugh
The
trial.
Murdaugh trial and we're holding court and everybody's guilty, including Murdaugh.
Oh, man.
Did you see that?
I did.
Were you surprised?
No.
Did you follow that trial?
Not too much, no, but
And I don't know a lot of the details because I've been so slam jam Cunningham. When we come back, I want you to run those down. Let's
Sure.
talk about this trial and also a number of different topics, including we want you to send over the photo. We've got damage all over the city.
oh yeah.
And I'm going to get the numbers for you. And Melissa may have some numbers about the power outages. We've got trees. We've got limbs in streets. We've got trampolines in
In
backyards.
people's yards. That's
Laura's,
right. Exactly.
Laura went outside a little bit earlier, and her husband Dave was jumping on his trampoline. And she said, "Where did you get the trampoline?" He said, "I thought you bought it." And at the same time, JP said, "Where's my trampoline?"
You want to know what's weird about that? The trampoline is on its side, and it got caught on the fence between our two yards, and it's just on its side, just waffling in the wind, looking like it's coming for our house. I mean, it's very scary. Yeah, weird out there today, man. What a weird day.
I know. I think I know what happened. We're going to have to do tarot cards.
Okay,
That
all right.
trampoline saw a chance to escape from J.P. Stovall's
Looks like
backyard.
it.
He
Into
said
mine.
he'll think the wind blew it away.
Yeah.
And so there it is.
That's
Okay,
what happened.
folks, it's been a weird weather month. And Doc, the winter of 1977, were you living in Union City then?
Yes. You going to UT Martin at that time.
Oh, boy. I was in Polk Clark Elementary School in Milan. That was high school, the black high school. And I didn't know this a few years ago, but former Sheriff David Wolford graduated high school there. And I recall we had so much snow that winter, they called it Wicked Wednesdays and Freaky Fridays. Byron Day, I think, was the weatherman when I was a kid. It snowed every Wednesday and Friday for like a month. We missed so much school, Doc.
yeah.
We had to go to school for like a week or two.
Yeah.
For an extra
closed UT Martin for a while because of the snow.
I'm glad you said that, too, because Jackson State Community College has closed for the day because of the weather.
Really?
Larry Newman called in sick. First time I've ever heard it. He didn't call in sick. He called in. I said, "Why are you not coming in?" He said, I'm sitting here watching the wind. I said,
Yeah, no doubt.
I said, sir, if you can see the wind, you'll be the first human in history. He said, well, you know what I mean, Riz.
oh, what's on the wind? Yeah,
He
what's
said
on the wind?
it's so bad his cable was out. I said, Larry, and his internet was out, so he's not coming to work.
Oh, man.
I've never heard a grown man say, my internet's out, I'm not going to be able to come in today. Have you?
No, I haven't. But I tell you, today was a little bit intense. And it's supposed to be like this till 6 o'clock this evening. So, I mean, there are these microbursts that keep coming around. It's weird out there. Let's face it. It's been a weird day.
Yeah, it is. But now you know how I feel every single day, even when it's sunny and 80.
It's always blowing wind in your head. Is that what's going on?
Now, Laura. Okay, Dave, she has spent too much time around me. Now, that was funny.
Thank you.
She'll be here all
She'll
week.
be here all
ladies. Be
week.
sure to tip your waitress. Yeah, Laura Lehman.
Did she say it on Twitter?
Probably did. Hey,
You
Doc,
bet I did.
let's run down your credentials too real quick because, Doc, you've got a lot of letters and things at the end of your name.
Sure. JD, MD, Doctor of Jurisprudence,
Wow.
Doctor of Medicine,
Wow.
Rotary Foundation Fellow, that's the trip to England, Year of England. I write a column, a social critic column in Union City. Grandfather 2, father 3.
This guy's, he's lazy, I tell you.
Too bad he doesn't do anything with his
you
life,
need to get
right?
yourself together, Doc.
Yeah,
you really
come
do. Make somebody of yourself, Doc. It's a pleasure to have you here, sir.
It's a pleasure to be here, and I thank you so much.
3:48 here on the program. When we come back, Dr. Mark Fowler. Well, let's get a couple of calls cleared just to make sure everything's okay out there with a day like this. So we'll go to the phone lines quickly. And you're live with us here on News Talk 96.5. You're on the air with us. Go.
Hey, good afternoon, Dan Holt.
Well,
Are
hello.
you in the studio?
You bet we are.
Yes. Well, it depends. What do you have in mind?
Well, I was just curious, is the Trey Smith gathering still on? Or
Oh.
No, it was yesterday. I just told you it was today because you were not. There's a reason why that you were not invited. I'll just leave it like that.
No.
I don't want to tell you that Trey didn't want you up here,
Oh.
or
dang.
nor did his family. So I won't say that.
well, I was highly impressed with the way Trey's sister handled you. Significantly.
yes,
Yes, indeed. Yeah, you had to sit down and behave yourself, little fella.
Hey, look,
Yeah.
Rick. Listen, I got to tell you, is that not a remarkable family, Rick?
They're good folks, Dan.
Doc, Trey's sister works in the front office of the NFL next
Wow,
to Roger Goodell
Wow.
in New York City.
That's
Wowie.
32 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I naturally started hitting her up saying, look, I've got some highlight reels.
Uh-huh.
Can you make sure Roger hears these Monday mornings? She said, we can talk about that. I said, tell you what we can do, you can get him on speaker. I just want to make sure, I want to hear his reaction when he hears my play-by-play. It was hilarious. I never met her before, and she was fantastic, wasn't she, Rick?
She is a very, very bright young lady.
Mickey Marley's
Oh, it's
great,
great.
too, isn't he?
You know, Trey's no dummy.
Oh, I
But,
bet.
Oh, Trace,
I bet.
yeah.
He's sharper than a tack, son, let me tell you. But hopefully you were bright enough to quickly print out your resume. And since you've got a inside connection, you could probably fib a little because you got the inside support, son, of going to the big time. You always wanted to go the big time. So there's your
Yeah.
opportunity. Don't let it pass. Do not let that door of opportunity close. Because if you do, we're not going to listen to you whine and cry about your missed opportunity
Oh.
to go to the headquarters building of the NFL. We're just not.
Well, Rick, listen, I feel the support coming through. I got to tell you, this is the big time. I don't know if you've recognized that. And I appreciate you trying to stick your nose in my business. But, Rick, I'm not going to get aggressive with you today because I've told Laura, we've been doing therapy, that I was going to, that I wasn't going to just go from 0 to 90
That's
overnight
right.
because
That's right.
you know, Rick, because you got caught up in a few windmills. That's my go-to move. It's a series of haymakers all at once.
Yeah.
Well, essentially, you need a little guidance from time to time.
Yeah.
You like to slide off close to the bad section of the roadway, so to speak. So,
Doc, listen, it's
hey, Miss Laura, how in the world have you
No
been
respect,
doing?
no.
I've been missing you.
Oh, thank you
Hey, Rick.
so much, Big Rip. I've been doing really good, Rick. I've been doing really good. My mom's been sick in Colorado, so I spent a couple of weeks out in Colorado trying to help her through some surgery, and she's doing lots better. So I've been doing real good, but I'm sorry I haven't been around as much. But I'm here
Rick,
for good now.
Let me stop you just a minute. She's at work. She can't take personal calls. But
Oh,
you're,
yes, you can.
Just a minute. No, you're a caller. Okay, I'll shut you down in a heartbut. Hey, Rick.
I love you, Big Rick. I love
listen,
you.
Rick, will you stay right there just a minute though? We got to get a break. Will you stay right there because there's some stories that we're going to get into. I'd like to get your thoughts on it. Have you heard Dr. Fowler on with us before?
Doctor who?
That would be a no.
I guess that's a no. Dr. Mark Fowler, he's a great conservative. He's a very talented man. I think you'll like him a lot. He's tremendous on the air.
Okay.
All right, you stay right there.
We'll
That
be right
stunned
back.
him. I said, conservative. He said, you had me at hello. It is 3:52. We got to get a quick timeout. And I apologize for having to do some maintenance on the air. But it's been a very windy day. It blew
Very,
half our,
very windy.
It blew half our roof off. We lost a couple of computers. Scotty, if you're listening, I'm kidding. I didn't think about that. It's Scotty's birthday. Happy birthday to you. So we'll be right back. Stay right there.
Take us with you wherever you go. Download our free apps for Apple and Android. Visit newstalkwtn.com. Then click to download.
King Jewelers is not your typical run-of-the-mill jewelry store. It's an iconic symbol of love. Custom handmade jewelry to suit your taste or melt down your old stuff and create something completely new. Grover has over 35 years as a certified jeweler with while you wait services that include free jewelry cleaning, fine jewelry, friendly staff, custom designs, quality repairs, and of course, Grover. KingJewelersJackson.com, 16B Conrad Drive, Jackson. Follow King Jewelers Jackson on social media for special savings.
Are you looking to move up in your career, change career paths, or maybe even thinking about finishing that degree you started? Jackson State Community College is here to help you greenlight your career. If you're 23 and older, you may qualify to go to college tuition free through Tennessee Reconnect. Yes, you heard that right, tuition free at Jackson State. Whether you're earning your degree for the first time to advance your career or finishing a degree you already started, Jackson State Community College is here to greenlight your career. It's time to take the next step in earning your degree. Learn how at jscc.edu/reconnect.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Central Distributors, Jackson.
What do you think he'll get you this year? Candy? Flowers?
No, I was thinking something more sparkly.
Wow, congratulations. How many carats do you think he'll spring for?
Girl, forget the ring. I want some of that shiny 45 Auto Mart bling.
At 45 Auto Mart, get a jewelry box full of $1,000 savings just by walking in and saying,
"Show me the bling."
We've had an 18-year clean Carfax successful marriage to our customers, and to keep the romance alive, we're taking $1,000 off so our relationship thrives. Say,
"Show me the bling,"
and carry this loaded leather sunroof Honda CRV over the threshold for $11,900 pick up this 60,000-mile 2020 Chevy Colorado for just $21,900. Don't fall for Mr. Megadigger with a sappy sales spiel and false love sting when every drive-in your Forever 45 ride will give you the feels like a sweet romance with 1,000 off because you said,
Show me the bling.
So call 989-8059 or come to 45 Auto Mart today. Wear your 1,000 off the perfect for you ride with that loves and bloom at first sight feeling that'll make you swoon and leave you reeling. Dealer!
Hi, my name's Dawn. I have been taking BioT at Advanced Medical. My moods are better. I sleep well. My husband has complimented me on the mood swings that are no longer affecting our marriage.
Are these problems affecting your work, your relationships, and your quality of life? You'll be happy to know there's an exciting, natural solution available called BioT. BioT uses a natural way for men and women to correct these problems by safely and accurately balancing hormone levels without the use of synthetic injections or cream.
I got blood work done, and they identified what hormones were out of balance. They gave me the bioidentical hormone pellets through BioT, and now I have more energy, no more brain fog, I'm sleeping better, and I feel like my old self again. I would recommend Advanced Rehab and Medical and their BioT program to anyone suffering with symptoms like mine. It's been life-changing.
To book your appointment, call 731-462-8580. That's 731-462-8580.
Looking to add a little spice to your love life?
Nothing adds spice like gunpowder.
Jackson's only indoor shooting range, date night at the range. Here's what you lovebirds get: a shooting lane for two targets, 100 rounds of ammo, eye and ear protection, and a $30 gift certificate to Texas Roadhouse. All for just $99.99.
Now that's firepower.
Perfect for a gift card from the range. The Range, 2310 North Highland Avenue in Jackson.
Go to therange.com.
This is WBFG 96.5 FM, 96.5 FM, Parker's Crossroads, Jackson.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Former Governor Nikki Haley says her presidential campaign is causing liberals' heads to explode. White House correspondent Greg Clugston with that report.
Haley told the Conservative Political Action Conference that liberals and the mainstream media can't stand the fact that she's a conservative.
I'm a woman, I'm a minority, and I'm the daughter of immigrants. I am proof that liberals are wrong about everything they say about America.
Speaking at CPAC one day before Donald Trump, Haley urged conservatives to put their trust in a new generation of leaders. Greg Clugston, Washington.
An 83-year-old Vietnam veteran is at long last getting his due. At the White House, President Biden awarding the Medal of Honor to retired Colonel Paris Davis, one of the first black officers to lead a Special Forces team in combat. Davis's recommendation for the medal had been lost, resubmitted, and then lost again. The president says Davis was, quote, everything this medal means. Also at townhall.com, California Senator Dianne Feinstein has been hospitalized with a case of the shingles. More from correspondent Bob Agnew.
Feinstein says in a statement she was diagnosed with shingles during the February recess and is being treated at a hospital in San Francisco. Shingles is a non-life-threatening illness most common in older adults who were previously infected with chickenpox, sometimes decades ago. Shingles symptoms normally include painful rashes, but in rare cases can also include facial paralysis, deafness, even blindness. The 89-year-old Feinstein says she's expected to make a full recovery and plans to be back at work in the Senate later this month. Bob Agnew reporting.
Stocks finishing higher, the Dow up 386 points and the Nasdaq ahead 226. Breaking news at townhall.com.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
If you're with Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile, join the flood of people switching to Pure Talk. The average family saves over $800 a year by switching. Get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data for just $30 a month. Or if you still want unlimited data, you can get that and still save a fortune. Go to puretalk.com, type in your address to find the coverage at your home, then enter promo code half off, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. That's puretalk.com, promo code half off.
She's been praised for her work defending the little guy, but now she's being likened to a terrorist.
Ohio officials are classifying environmental watchdog Aaron Brockovich as a, quote, special interest terrorism threat, end quote, in East Palestine, Ohio. The designation was made by the Ohio Statewide Terrorism and Crime Center Analysis Unit, who issued a warning ahead of Brockovich's visit to the town polluted by a toxic train derailment. According to Yahoo News, former Department of Homeland Security Acting Undersecretary John Cohen said that including Brockovich's name was, quote, problematic, end quote. Tasha Stevens reporting.
At New Mexico State, the once treasured men's basketball team has been suspended for the season due to a fatal shooting and a gruesome allegation of locker room hazing. There's no word yet on when the men's program will be back up and running. Breaking news at townhall.com. Tesla is getting a helping hand in the expansion of one of its U.S. factories.
The electric vehicle manufacturer will get more than $330 million in tax breaks from Nevada to massively expand its vehicle battery facility near Reno, adding electric semi-truck production. Republican Governor Joe Lombardo cites the benefit of jobs and the boost Tesla's huge factory has given the local economy for almost a decade. Rich Thomason reporting.
Ford says it will increase production of 6 models through the year as the company and the auto industry start to rebound from sluggish U.S. sales in 2022. The automaker announced that it plans to build more of the Mustang Mach-E, the Bronco Sport SUV, and Maverick small pickup. That chip shortage that we all know about is starting to ease, and automakers like Ford are starting to increase production. More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
Hi, my name's Dawn. I have been taking BioTE at Advanced Medical. My moods are better. I sleep well. My husband has complimented me on the mood swings that are no longer affecting our marriage.
Are these problems affecting your work, your relationships, and your quality of life? You'll be happy to know there's an exciting, natural solution available called BioTE. BioTE uses a natural way for men and women to correct these problems by safely and accurately balancing hormone levels without the use of synthetic injections or cream.
I got blood work done, and they identified what hormones were out of balance. They gave me the bioidentical hormone pellets through BioTE, and now I have more energy, no more brain fog, I'm sleeping better, and I feel like my old self again. I would recommend Advanced Rehab and Medical and their BioTE program to anyone suffering with symptoms like mine. It's been life-changing.
To book your appointment, call 731-462-8580. That's 731-462-8580.
Welcome to Hampton Inn and Suites of Jackson. Make yourself at home in any of the 83 rooms or suites. Hampton Inn and Suites exit 83 at I-40 is minutes away from all Jackson destinations like the West Tennessee Healthcare Sportsplex, Casey Jones Village, Jackson Madison County General Hospital, and many industrial complexes. Enjoy free Wi-Fi, free parking, and free hot breakfast. Also a 24-hour fitness and business center. Welcome to West Tennessee. Make your reservations now by calling direct at 731-427-6100 or visit hampton.com.
When you need a heart expert, you need an expert with heart. Corbin Cardiology is dedicated to providing the highest quality cardiovascular care in West Tennessee. At Corbin Cardiology, our patient-centered approach, along with a full array of diagnostic imaging services, sets us apart from other cardiovascular clinics. Corbin Cardiology has clinics in Bartlett, Dyersburg, Lexington, and the newest location is now open in Jackson at 58 Murray Guard Drive. To schedule an appointment in office or by telemedicine, visit CorbinCardiology.com
or call 731-513-5701.
We're back here live on the Dan Reeves Show. We've got some technical difficulties, some crazy stuff going on today, but we do have a really good guest in the house today, and I would love to hear from you. This is your Dr. Mark Fowler, is that correct? And I'd like to hear some cool stuff about you and what's going on with you, and I'd just like to know more about your life. A doctor of jurisprudence and a doctor of medicine. How does one become both of those? That seems a little crazy.
A lot of time in school. Is my mic on?
I believe so. Are you? Which mic are you? How's that one?
That's better.
Okay, great.
That's
I
better.
don't have my headphones on because I'm moving around. So.
Yeah. Well, during my formative years, I always wanted to be an attorney for a variety of reasons, and went to law school and practiced law school. Was a public defender and criminal defense lawyer for a time.
Okay.
And there were a variety of things that happened, but one of them was a basic sense that I could do more with my skills as a physician than I could as an attorney. So I picked up my science prerequisites at UT Martin, and I started medical school in 1994 when I was 35. I was the second oldest guy in the class.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
That must have been a little intense, right?
It was very intense, but I loved it, and I'm so glad that I did it. I've had a much better life professionally and personally since I did that.
Isn't that cool? And so did you have a sense that you wanted to help people medically, or how did that all come up?
Well, it's a funny thing because I remember all through my childhood thinking I should think about medical school.
Right.
And then I'd blow it off. I'd say, well, I'm not that smart. I'm not that energetic or whatever. And I did that off and on. And then at Martin, I would hear people talk about organic chemistry, which is a science prerequisite.
Yeah.
And they would say how hard it was.
Oh, yeah.
And I would think, well, I could never pass organic chemistry. But then, of course, when the time came, I had to pass organic chemistry, and I did. But and so the lesson that I would share with others is don't sell yourself short.
Yeah.
I could have been a doctor 10 years earlier if I had been a little bit more studious, a little bit more energetic.
Right.
But it's all come together, and I've loved it. And the combination of law and medicine, it really expands your mind.
It's a very interesting one. I've heard of people who were lawyers and CPAs. I've heard of that kind of thing, but I have literally never heard of someone who was a medical doctor as well as a lawyer.
Now, they're relatively rare. They're only about 1,500 in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it takes a long time. You know, you have 4 years of undergraduate school, 3 years of law school, 4 years of medical school, and then 3 or 4 years or more of residency. Yeah.
Right, of course. Wow.
Anyway, but I enjoyed it. And then ultimately lately I turned to writing social critiques and columns for the local paper, and some of those are being published in Gibson County in the Milan Mirror and the Gibson County paper by my good friend Victor Parkins.
And what do you talk about? What's a social critique? What's the basis of that? I'm not sure I understand what your column's like. I'd like to just understand what kind of things you write about.
Okay, everything. I've written movie critiques. I've written art critiques. I've written on current events. For example, one of the things that I wrote about was the public school system in Chicago, Baltimore, and Union in Memphis.
Right.
And here's the heartbreaking thing about those systems. In Chicago, 33% of the children, only 33% of the children are proficient in math.
Oh, wow.
Only 22% are proficient in reading. Now, the problem with that is these children get socially promoted.
Right, right.
And they get a piece of paper, and they know deep in their hearts that the piece of paper is worthless.
Obviously, they can't even do math, right? Oh, my gosh.
In Baltimore, you had a similar thing. There were only 7% overall proficiency in the Baltimore schools. Now, if anything is a social leveler in our society, it's a solid education.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
And when you take that away from these kids, and they graduate from high school and they go into whatever with a chip on their shoulder, they're not going to last long. So if ever there was a racist attack on children, that's it, is not giving them a good, solid education.
Right.
Yeah. In Memphis.
Or letting them have an education that's masquerading as a good education, and they get out, they don't know anything.
Yeah. I think
intense.
Deep in their hearts, they know that they have a piece of paper that's worthless and the whole system is a fraud. And that's a terrible thing to do to a child.
Yeah, that's rotten. Yeah, super rotten.
Dan, it's been a fantastic news week. And one of the things you may or may not have heard of is Alex Murdaugh. Is he a friend of yours?
I sure hope not.
Doc, I deserve that. Well, Melissa told me that we got called that your mic wasn't working, and I was about to take that mic apart and check it out. I'm glad I didn't until I checked to make sure it was on. It was not on.
Yeah, it's on now. So we've got
now it's on.
Yeah, Laura did fantastic.
Is she not?
She's the best.
Oh, that's funny because I had him on 4, and then he said the mic wasn't working, so we put him on 2, and then he said that was working. So isn't that weird? Yeah.
I tell you, it's a good thing I came back in. You guys were just absolutely about to crash into the side of the
You better watch yourself. You for sure know that we're coming here to save your little butt, so you better watch yourself.
You actually did.
You watch yourself, Dan.
I was, okay, whoever was just calling callback is sorry about that. I just noticed it blinking just in the nick of time to see it blink for the last time. So jump back up, get it back up in here with us. I had to take a call about some Wi-Fi, and I don't want to get into it because it blew up into an argument, and I don't feel like it's my fault. Doc, I'll just be honest with you.
Did you handle yourself well?
Well, I don't. You probably wouldn't think so because you would have never done it. No, but I made my point. Okay, so Rick, are you still there?
Oh, I'm thoroughly enjoying this conversation. Oh, absolutely, Doc. Can you show up at least like 3 times a week with your knowledge?
Yeah.
Because I've been trying to share the truth for Madison County and West Tennessee as a whole. See, we have a real problem. I had a military career, and I left the Air Force Academy in 1995 and came back to this region of the country. And within 3 days, I was asking for the reading comprehension data off of the D-Lab testing that armed forces recruiting offices possess.
Right.
And it was astonishing because at that point in time in 1995, there were only 3 out of 10 children that were achieving reading comprehension in order to pass the Army exam.
Put it in a nutshell. Would you rate yourself a 3-hour show?
3 out of 10. That's terrible.
And now, Doctor, we're at 2 out of 10. There's been no real emphasis on identifying, recognizing, and doing massively manual labor to solve this. This is 30-odd years ongoing.
Okay, Rick. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Are you on to this, Doc?
Yeah. Well,
we're listening. Yeah, we're into it.
No, I know you're listening, but is this ringing a bell?
Yeah, he's right.
He's right. He is right.
Will you please pull this off? Let's keep it, because no one's going to believe it. We'll have the evidence that he was right.
Oh, yeah,
One
he's
time.
right. All right.
So what do you think?
Well, it's been a major paradigm shift. The whole essence of education can be painful. And when children are not encouraged through that pain, then they become undisciplined. If you let them sink to their lowest level, they will. But when you challenge a child, that child will gain personal satisfaction and self-esteem from the process of success in and of itself.
Right.
But when you make a pretense of passing him, even though he's not performing, he will not perform. And this is the major paradigm shift. Perhaps it's due to feminization. Perhaps it's due to paradigm change among teachers. But we have got to get back to the notion that just to become a proficient in anything requires effort and time and hard work.
Okay, so let me ask you this now, Rick. You stay right there, and because I think we're going to conference in some calls here. Now this caller just out in. You're live with us here on News Talk 96.5. How are you?
Hello.
Hey, Josh.
I'm very pleased. I'm pleased to be able to address this very educated guest you have.
Thank you, sir.
Are you talking about Doc or Laura? Or both?
Well, both of them, but the doctor of law, it's interesting.
Yeah, it is, Josh. I both these two individuals are great Americans. Go right ahead, sir.
So, you may have studied law. I've always wanted to ask someone who has studied law if they could confirm whether or not the United States of America was actually surrendering the charter to the British Accreditation Registry to the bar in the Act of 1871. You know, after Abe Lincoln was going to issue the...
Now, Josh, let me jump in with you just a second because, again, the time restraints on this program. I'm going to put you right back on hold, though, because I don't want to be rude. You're a great American yourself. We try to cover current topics. You don't have to be same year, even the same month, but the same century is... We really need you to stay in the same century. Now, I think that's interesting, too, what you're asking, but let's try to keep it to modern day for just this program. Let's get back to what Rick said.
Sure.
You said maybe the teachers have changed. What if I told you that the teachers don't like it at all, that they're being held hostage, or they're being, I've heard teachers, I know a lot of teachers, that feel like that I got to stack paperwork up to the ceiling here.
Right.
This started No Child Left Behind sort of thing with during the Bush administration. It was a joint effort between, hey, you may not know what this is, kids that are, if you're under 15 years old, it's called bipartisan. You don't know what that is today because it went away. And it was a joint effort, both major political parties. And I think there was only one outcome possible, and they knew it when they started this, and it was to dumb down America.
Well, my first comment is the President of the United States is not the school superintendent.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, you're right about that. But that federal guideline was set, and there were dollars attached to it, and that's how they forced these teachers in the school systems to do exactly what they want them to do.
Yeah, they shoehorned that in.
They did, yeah.
Schools are and have been traditionally a local issue, and it's the local school board that ought to set the curriculum.
You're brilliant, sir, because that's right, and so, that sounds so simple to you and I and Laura, because and the reason it worked so well was, let's say Alamo, for example. Well, Alamo's present and future was up to the people in Alamo,
correct?
Right.
Right.
So they had a vested interest in having the best school system they could possibly have. That's led to jobs and the workforce. Well, it was up to them. If they produce for these companies, these corporations, these factories, well, they're going to want to come there.
Right.
So Alamo's destiny was in their own hands, right?
Right.
You can see the motivation.
Absolutely.
They took all that away.
Yeah, and that's a shame. But teachers used to be a moral figure in the community. My mother was a teacher, and she was in Lake County, Tennessee, briefly, and she dated a doctor at the time, and he wanted to go to one of the local honky tonks, and she said, "No, I can't do that. I'm a school teacher, and my reputation is important." So she didn't go, but you wouldn't hear much of that anymore.
Maybe. But I don't. That may be true. I don't know, Laura. What's your thoughts on it? Because I know there's a lot of great teachers that even today feel the same way.
Yeah.
But I think you make some excellent points, though. What do you say to that, Laura?
Well, I think that there's a lot of teachers who feel a lot of pressure from, like you're talking about, these national mandates and things like that, and they aren't maybe being able to do what they always used to do. Like teachers used to teach in this fashion, and now they're being asked to teach in this fashion. And I don't know. I think that does take some of the individuality away from teachers. My mom was a teacher. I grew up with a teacher, so I can completely and totally relate to all of that. And I know for a fact that she said that, things have gotten strange in the world of education since she was brought up, right? Now she's in her 80s. So, she just has had to witness things happen in the educational field that just were out of her control. And I think that kind of scares teachers when suddenly their curriculum's out of their control.
And their money is going down.
Correct.
Yeah. There's that
and
as
at
well.
the same
right.
time, remember the sorry scene in Wisconsin a few years ago? I don't know what the Wisconsin Republican Party was thinking, but they were painting those teachers as greedy, driven by money, trying to get rich. You remember that? It was.
They're the most underpaid people in probably all of our economy.
Yes, I
teachers.
thought that was the most ridiculous, and some people bought it. Now,
ridiculous.
About the same time, Doc, the irony of this, me and Richard, the narrator Barber, do you know him?
Who's that?
Richard Barber.
No.
Executive Director, Asheville Recovery Center, one of the finest alcohol, substance abuse rehabilitation facilities really in the world, isn't it, Laura? It's
Absolutely.
incredible.
Absolutely.
We were sitting downtown Jackson. It's just, I think, Green Frog Coffee Company. We were having a cup of espresso, and Doc, forgive me, but I was burning a heater, and so was the narrator, by the way, Richard Barber. He's in show business as well. We're longtime best friends. Richard, the narrator Barber, is an award-winning sideline reporter as well for our football coverage. And he looks like Sean Connery. He got married, though, so the ladies, and doesn't he? He looks like the country version of Sean Connery.
I'll say that. Yeah, the country version of Sean Connery. Yeah.
And so he's very debonair. I heard him say many times to ladies, "Girl, you look good as brand new carpets." And I've tried that. Doesn't work for me. He also, one of his go-tos was, "Girl, you look good as brand new tires."
Yeah, not so hot. What, I've got a lot of tread on
doesn't
me
work for
or
me.
what? Yeah.
But for a guy, though, brand new tires, right, Doc? Look really good. Yeah. So we're sitting there, talking about things. We're holding court. Everybody was guilty. And these two lovely young ladies sit down at the table next to us outside. Beautiful day. And I just happened to notice those two young ladies. And I think I, said hello to them. And one of them come walking right over and said, "Do you have a light?" And I was like, "Geez, it's our day." But she had this accent. And I said, asked where they were from. It sounded like, she said, "Take a guess." I said, "Well, it sounds like you're from up north." Huntington? They didn't know what that was. Sweden. School teachers.
Oh, wow.
Said they flew in, I forgot where, somewhere out west, and they were driving across the country. Not the first time they've done this. And I said, "Well, what led you to Jackson?" But I can understand if it's like Love's truck stop at I-40.
Right.
They said they wanted to come see the Rockabilly Hall of Fame.
Oh,
I said,
okay.
"Oh, great, downtown Jackson." And so we got to talking about, they flew in, they were talking about all the trips they've taken together. Both were school teachers, and they said they've come to America many different times. And I said, "Well, have you ever considered moving here?" They both said, "Yeah, we were planning on it. We always wanted to, but every time we turn on the news, there's gun violence." And we're like, we just don't feel safe to, we even talked about not coming this year. And she said also that the pay, we checked on it for school teachers in America, we couldn't believe it was so low. And I was like, well, what's happened here is that our old game plan, where we built this country into the world's only superpower, we don't use it anymore. In Sweden, you guys have taken our old game, our playbook, because we're not using it.
Right.
And I'm not kidding you, Doc. The narrator can back me up on this because he's got more credibility than I do. He was Jackson's Man of the Year, 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was rigged. I thought I was in line, but I'm not going to make a big deal. And so there was a fella that walked up, asked for a light. Same situation. He had pulled up in a BMW motorcycle. Those are expensive.
Right.
School teacher, Sweden. I'm not kidding you. And he said he flew into Dallas, bought that BMW, and he was cruising America.
Wow.
And I said, let me guess, you came to see the Rockabilly Hall of Fame. He said, how'd you know?
Wow.
I told him.
It's a big thing in Sweden.
Yeah, all the Swedish people do that.
You know, in
yeah,
Europe,
yeah.
they
Everybody
love
does that.
Rockabilly. Yeah. So, and the people who live here didn't even know it was here.
Yeah.
You know how that goes.
Right.
For example, I'm not appreciated for as talented as I am in my own hometown.
But in Sweden?
But in Sweden,
Man,
I think they would like
You're
in
big in
Sweden.
Sweden. Good. That's good. Well, a prophet was without honor in his own country.
That's
well
right.
said, sir.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I think it's heavy lies the crowd. I don't know. But what do you think? Am I making any sense here at all?
Yeah, well, we have got to get back to the old-fashioned notion that there is no escape from hard work. Success requires hard work. And we've got to get away from the notion that the primary motivating factor in your life is self-esteem. Self-esteem is earned. It cannot be granted.
And there's nothing I can do about your self-esteem. That's why
correct.
they call it self-esteem,
Right.
Right.
And self-esteem cannot be bestowed upon somebody with participation trophies. But
I agree.
it comes from working hard and accomplishment and failing and overcoming. And we have abandoned so much of that in the school systems. Some of these places that I've looked at have, if you show up and have a pulse, you get 50 points out of 100.
Yeah.
And you said the trophy generation, Doc, in these youth leagues, you get a trophy if you are on the roster.
Right.
You don't
For
have to show up at the game. You do not have to show up at the games anymore. Just that you're on the roster. Now, these kids, when you raise them like that, they don't face any adversity. And then they're turned loose on us in the real world.
Well, they don't earn anything either.
Right.
They have that's right. And they expect it just like it was
Expect it,
in
not
youth
earning.
athletics. I just got to be on the roster. I just have to be on the payroll to get checked.
Right. And
That's
it
what you're
doesn't work.
saying, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't work. It's never worked.
And I'm afraid they understand there is no other possible outcome. In other words, I think this is intentional. Do you?
Yeah, I do. Well, I think it's a combination of misguided compassion, and compassion taken too far can become a god, and that never works out.
Is it compassionate to feed the bears?
No,
no.
You have to
the
let
Buddhists
them know
call
it's
that
not.
stupid
Yeah.
compassion. The Buddhists say when you are compassionate in a place where you're going to be walked over or hurt, or if you give so much compassion away that you're over the edge and you're putting yourself in danger, that's called stupid compassion, right?
That's right, Laura.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Because you don't want to have a child be upset or frustrated. Well, the fact of the matter is life is full of difficulties and frustration. And some of the greatest men...
Who told you about me? No, you're right about that.
Yeah, some of the greatest men. Winston Churchill had a terrible lisp.
Right.
But he had to overcome, and you could go on and on and on. Franklin Roosevelt got polio as a young man and had to overcome that. And
Think about that.
It's the meeting, it's the collision of chaos and order, and that's where you've got to bring your best game.
Well, and if you don't overcome anything as a child, when you get to become an adult and you realize how many things there are to overcome,
right,
you are really not practiced at it, right?
No,
You've had no skills. You don't have those coping skills. You don't have the ability to go through something hard and recover from it and become better than ever before.
That's right.
I think that's a real mistake to take that away from our kids.
It is.
Well, I can't tell you, Laura, you probably, and Doc, you probably read the same things. How many people that have achieved on very high levels where their parents had to make a decision when they were children to not allow the doc who suggested, let's put him on something to calm him down.
That's
to draw him back.
That's a whole different dimension right there.
Right, that's a big one.
It's another element, though. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is. Yeah, I'm very, very apprehensive about chemically enhanced lifestyle.
Yeah,
well, I'm not
especially for
that
children.
apprehensive. I'm not that apprehensive. No, I'm kidding. But I guess the thing is, Doc, Is he not all I told you he was, Laura?
Oh, yeah, he's awesome. Lots of fun to talk to.
You
Lots
are
of fun.
fantastic.
Well, thank
man.
you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, the pleasure's ours. Okay, so you mentioned the teachers again. With all due, the teachers don't set the rules. They don't set the system.
No.
I think in many ways they're victims of the system, and a lot of them have that passion they love to teach kids. It's a real passion.
Mm-hmm.
You don't say, look, I want to be rich, I'm going to be a school teacher. Those words are never spoken.
Exactly. In the same sentence.
No, it reminds me, because when you own the national media outlets, you can convince people of these things. Right. You can convince the American people or any people because we've got a country with great people in it. We do. Very compassionate people. And I think in many cases today, victims of propaganda, like John F. Kennedy warned, that the speech that killed Kennedy, where he said, there's a shadow war going on for control of our country. Right. If they win, they'll own the national media outlets. If that happens, they'll use them as propaganda. They'll fall in the hands of just a handful of people.
Why do you think that happened?
Well, and a few days later, he lost his head.
That's fine.
Yeah, that
well,
too.
let's grind this grist just a little bit finer. And we're picking on teachers, but that's not all of the problem.
They're victims.
They are. Yeah. They're caught up in a bureaucracy that doesn't see the results of their policies. But also the lack of engagement by parents and the lack of engagement by students. There's this whole mindset of life must be easy and simple, and I should never stub my toe, and I should never be frustrated. Yeah.
But the kids are not the problem, though. It's the adults.
Right.
Dr. Mark Fowler, man, I tell you, Trey, you went up several notches in my book. You ain't going hunting with us, but still, maybe Trey's a great guy. Trey Fleet.
He's fantastic.
Great American, really is. We've got to get a quick break. We'll come back here. We'll read some of the texts for Dr. Mark Fowler and for Laura Lehman. And by the way, a friend of mine, Peter, said, I'd love to hear Laura do a tarot card reading. I said, are you trying to be funny? Was that not good? He said, what are you talking about? I said, I thought he was trying to be funny. He said, no, I want to hear her do it. I said, she's done that a couple of times. She's fantastic. We're doing it.
It's pretty fun, actually, yeah.
Hey, Peter, come on up here. Let her do yours.
Let's do that, Peter.
A couple of announcements here because of the weather. We've got power outages in parts of town. Melissa, can you check and see if maybe with Steve Bowers, ask him how much, as far as JEA, how much electricity is out, how many stations, please? And anything else we need, when I say I need help with. And all Jackson State Community College locations will be closed today. I know it's class is already out. We probably should have announced this a little bit earlier. Actually, we have done that all day, but I wanted to tell you one more time that because of the predicted weather conditions, we got this from Jackson State. Henry Kilpatrick is the PR and marketing consultant. Great job he does. We got that this morning at 6:53, and some of us around here said, what are you talking about? It's a beautiful morning. Well, Henry, obviously, somebody did a tarot card reading. He said, wait, probably you don't even have electricity right now.
Well, so there are 4,637 customers without power right now from Jackson Energy, from JEA, and they do say that most of the power outages are south of I-40. There is some North Highland, there's definitely some power outages around the bypass and around North Highland, but the bulk of the outages are lower south of the highway. But yeah, right now, almost 5,000 people with customers without power. So yeah, it's
right
still
at
quite an issue.
5,000 of them.
Yeah.
And Mark, you said Union City, your hometown. Laura, thank you so much. Had some power outages there as well, right?
Yeah, they were quickly repaired, but they had some,
Yeah.
Well, there were 15,000 out earlier in the day, so for it to be down to 5 now is awesome. So JEA's out there working really hard. If you see someone in an electric truck, wave at them and say thank you.
Listen, I got to tell you, as Chesley Dennison, you know him?
Not personally.
He is one of the wigs out there over, I think, commercial internet. Mm-hmm. And he's fantastic. And he messed up and gave me his cell phone number a few years ago. We're friends. So I hit him up today. Hey, we don't have any Wi-Fi. He's probably at the top of a light pole. I'm like, He said, "Can I call you back?" I said, "No, sir. I can't pull up. I'm trying to Google myself."
I'm having trouble here.
You talking about customer service? It's second to none. Jackson Energy Authority, JEA.
Yeah, man, they
Jess,
are on
thank
it
you.
today. Thank you, JEA. Yeah.
And I think maybe, Melissa, are we back up to full tilt boogie? No, we're not. I take all that back, Chesley. Come on, do something for it. No, but he got us back on the air and got us just enough internet to make me mad. No, thank you, Chesley. Thank you, JEA, E Plus Broadband. They do great customer service. And Laura's handed me the map here, and that is mostly, okay, so this map is, they're updating a map every 10 minutes. All right, so I-40 kind of straddles I-40 there, and Laura, you're right, most of it is south of I-40, but there's some power outages, like, for example, Dr. Peter Gardner called from Physicians Quality Care. They've had to close early because there's no power. And
hence no entertainment.
Hence, he can't watch movies.
That's
there.
right.
And so
Yeah, the movie theater's down.
The movie theater's
the
down.
doctors had to go home.
That's right. So they hope to be back up and running tomorrow morning, and we'll let you know. Dr. Gardner let us know Physicians Quality Care had to close early because lack of power. Funny how that works. And so there you go. Thank you, Doc. And also, we got these messages coming in. Madison County Sheriff Julian Weiser had a update on the expansion of the jail at the Criminal Justice Center at last week's County Commission meeting. Some notes to share with you on that. We'll get to that story as well. And what we'll get to next, and I can't wait to get your thoughts, and Laura, on Alex Murdaugh. Did you guys get to that while I was...
No, not yet. No, we were
yet.
just talking about all the great things Dr. Fowler's involved in. But yeah, the Murdaugh thing, that's come down. You know, we got to get to that verdict.
We will get to that next, because a judge has sentenced the South Carolina attorney, Alex Murdaugh. And we'll tell you how long he's going to be going away, because it came down, I think, with the sentencing came down this morning.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to get to that as well here on the Dan Reeves Show. Pay no attention to Walker Talks.
Chuck Walker. We're just advertising
Chuck,
for him.
this was a green screen. He painted the wall with his logo. And now the green screen. So it's always Walker Talks.
That's pretty good advertising.
You know, that was actually brilliant. I should have thought of that. We'll be right back. Dr. Mark Fowler's in studio. And I got to tell you this now. Gene Langley Ford in Humboldt at 3500 East End Drive. And Ford, what a investment. You know, Doc?
Oh, yeah.
Over $5 billion.
That's amazing.
That's some serious jack. And now Kyle Spurgeon is the president and CEO of the Greater Jackson Chamber of Commerce. Do you know Kyle?
No, I don't.
You know, you ought to meet him, because Greater Jackson Chamber of Commerce, working together with even Union City, and it was a great plan put together. And because all of us stand to benefit here from what's going on in Blue Oval City and all the peripheral jobs coming into West Tennessee.
I-69?
Absolutely. Right through Union City. Yeah. I tell you, Laura, have you ever been to up at Discovery Park?
No, but I really would like to go there. I'd love to see that
Isn't
place.
that amazing?
It is amazing. An amazing personal vision of Bob Kirkland, Robert Kirkland, and he put that together and funded it. It is truly world class. I've been to museums around the world, and this one ranks right up there with them. It really does.
It'd blow you away. And Union City is a great town, but
we should do a live remote from there someday.
12,000, I think.
12,000.
That'd be a fun place to do a live remote.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be neat? Let's go up there.
They have a marketing budget, and we'd love to come up there.
Yeah, let's go up there. Yeah, let's do that.
And we are big fans. You can put a word in for us.
I'll do it.
If you have to strong arm them, I'm cool with that. And but yeah, do you know Ron Kirkland?
Yes.
Ron's got a bit of an attitude problem. Yesterday he will attack me unprompted. I told him you were coming in today. Yeah. He was going to try to come in. He is fantastic on the air, too.
Oh, he's a great guy.
He's one of the greatest guys. He's on the board at Aspel Recovery Center. Mm-hmm. Done a wonderful job. And, of course, Carl and Alice and Dr. Ron Kirkland and Carol, wonderful people. They really are. I don't know what it is about the water. Something in the water at Union. John Tanner's a great friend of mine.
Oh, yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
And I've got to call John. I talked to him quite a bit off the air, and he comes on. Is he not fantastic when he comes on?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Man, and he was, I guess at one time, the highest ranking member in the U.S. government when it come to NATO. Remember that?
Yeah, he was a parliamentarian.
And he worked directly with Vladimir Putin, and he is so candid about Vladimir Putin. He's not a fan.
Yeah.
So, John Tanner, great American, and the guy that, is that true about the stonewashed jeans thing in Union City?
Yes. If you hadn't asked me, I would have mentioned his name, but he's deceased now. But he came up with the concept of stonewashing jeans and started that in Union City, ultimately moved his factory to Mexico because it was so labor intensive.
Here's another case of he didn't set the rules, but if he was going to keep playing ball, he was going to have to play with the rules. Yeah. And okay, so John Tanner, did you know Jim Greer?
Yes, Jim and Sue. I sure did.
Jim and Sue. That's
Brad's father.
Brad's parents. Jonathan's grandparents. Wow. Jonathan works next door part-time. You know Jonathan?
No.
That's the oldest. Brad's oldest son.
He's really cool.
He's okay. He's he's getting married.
No, I didn't know that. I bet he'll have an awesome outfit.
So John bought Jim and Sue's house, and they moved to Jackson. Sue passed away a couple of years ago.
Right.
Jim is one of the finest men I've ever met.
He is. He's a great guy.
And Jonathan's the oldest grandchild from Brad, and you can't beat Jonathan Greer, can you? His IQ's like 150. Don't even try to play chess against him. And he's a good-looking kid.
Yeah, he's well-spoken. Yeah, he always dresses nice.
He does, and he is a real estate agent, Greer Real Estate, that Brad started. Beautiful building downtown. You ought to go down and see it when you have time.
All right.
It's a great story. And Jim Greer is just, man, he's awesome. Just awesome. I just thought something's in the water in Union City.
Jerry Guerin. Jerry Guerin was the guy.
Is that it?
Yeah, Jerry Guerin.
Man, that's a great town. But Discovery Park it's like Disney World in Union City.
Yeah.
And that observation deck, I want to ask, when's the last time you've been there? Recently to?
Oh, yeah, within the last year. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think I've been there since COVID hit. But I sat on an observation deck, and there is the bed for I-69 right behind Discovery Park.
Right.
And it looked like a scene out of The Road Warrior or some movie, futuristic movie where we've had like a nuclear war, because
still
there's
dusty.
the bed. It's grass and dust, but the concrete overpasses are there.
Wow.
They're blacktopping that now.
They are, okay.
Yeah, they've finally gotten around to it.
So you can see that there's tunnel at the end of the light there.
That's correct.
And then you've got that port up at Lake County.
Kate's Landing Port.
Yeah. Is Ed Jackson's coverage still go up there, Senator Ed Jackson?
I don't think so.
Because he really was working hard on that, I know, at one time. So things are, of course, Dyersburg I-55 right there. So things are looking good for the future of Northwest Tennessee as well.
Right.
But now you start trying to steal our spotlight, there's going to be a problem here. That's a great place up there. It really is. Alex Murdaugh, we'll get to that next. And we've got some more local news when it comes to some of the damage that was done when this front pushed through here earlier today. And I tell you this, though, we got very lucky. There's some killer weather.
They're calling it a wind event. How about that? A wind event.
But I tell you, Larry Newman and these weathermen are going to have to calm down. It's not good enough to be a rain shower. Now it's a rain event.
It's a wind
event. I feel like I need to buy tickets.
Exactly.
A wind event, folks. And you've got Larry mesmerized, saying he can't leave the house. He's watching the wind. Larry, you can't see the wind, man. But you can see the damage. You certainly can. So that's all coming up next year. And Gene Langley Ford in Humboldt, 3500 East End Drive. Now straddling East End Drive on one side of the street is the new car division. The other side, the pre-owned division of Gene Langley Ford in Humboldt. The dealership that service truly built. Shop online 24/7 at GeneLangleyFord.com. And now at Gene Langley Ford, you can shop online, build that vehicle from the ground up, even set your service visits, and secure financing online at GeneLangleyFord.com. 3500 Easton Drive in Humboldt. Gene Langley Ford. And with any new car, truck, or SUV purchase from Gene Langley Ford, you get a lifetime warranty. Now that is confidence in your products. That's Jean Langley Ford. 445. Dr. Mark Fowler is in the house. And Laura Lehman. It's so good to have you back in, Laura.
Oh, thank you, Danny. Glad to be here.
And Doc, same for you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
We'll
Good
be
to be
right
here.
back.
It's always severe weather season in West Tennessee. When severe weather strikes, we're here for you. 96.5 FM, News Talk WTN.com.
My name is Steven and I'm 41 years old. I started having problems with my weight, my focus, my energy all around. I spent thousands of dollars a year on supplements trying to get my weight down, and it never worked.
Are these problems affecting your work, your relationships, and your quality of life? You'll be happy to know there is an exciting natural solution available called BioT. BioT uses a natural way for men and women to correct these problems by safely and accurately balancing hormone levels without the use of synthetic injections or creams.
I got the treatment and it has been the best decision of my life. I feel great. I'm losing weight. I have more energy. I'm getting stronger in the gym and I can focus so much better. And I notice that I also sleep better and I'm always in a good mood. And I believe it's all because of the BioT treatment.
To schedule an appointment to find out if BioTE is right for you, call 731-462-3596. That's 731-462-3596.
96.5 FM. Home of the Dan Reeves Show.
Weekday afternoons, 3 till 6.
It is 4:48. You put those headsets on right there, sir. Because I haven't met these two gentlemen yet. My name's Dan Reeves. So they don't know. It's you two have hit the lottery today because a chance to listen to me talk. I think you're. I'm kidding. Before you, I'm way overtired, so I get a little bit crazy. He already is adjusted, and so I don't want to freak y'all out, but I go in a lot of different directions. What's your name, sir?
Lawan King. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, Lawan?
Yes, sir.
Where are you from, Lawan?
I'm from Jackson, Tennessee.
Where'd you go to high school?
Southside High School.
Hey, Southside,
yes, sir.
Hawks.
Home of the Hawks.
Look out. So, Doc, there's several high schools in Jackson, but Lawan will back me up on this. I don't think any high school, Lawan, circles the wagons like the Hawks. It's like a Union City or a mile. It's a community school, isn't it, Lawan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you know what the record is for the Southside Lady Hawks?
I want to say 32-0, but don't quote me on
You're
it.
close. 30-0. Do you know Brent McNeil?
Yes, sir.
You've seen that, A Great American?
Yes, sir. He's awesome.
Have you seen them play this year?
Yes, sir. I watched a couple games.
I was saying earlier, I did a play-by-play for their games. You know Demond
Fuller? Yes, sir.
Demond Fuller. Have you ever heard of Demond Fuller?
No.
Nobody else had either until I started talking about him. I made him famous. I'm kidding, man. Damon's a great guy. I mean, both Damon and Brent are alumni of Southside, and I don't know how Southside does it, but they do that. They bring their people back. The principal, Miss Tucker's an alum, right? Mm-hmm. And it's
that's fantastic.
Yeah, and Damon and Brent McNeil, I would send my kids to play for them. Wouldn't you?
Yes, sir.
I mean, they are great Americans, wonderful people. That Southside team, if you've not seen them, you better go. We'll be there tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Are you going tomorrow night, Luan?
Yes, sir. I'll be there.
And the Southside Gym it's old,
mm-hmm.
and I mean that with a lot of respect because it's got character, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
And it'll be great tomorrow night. And one step away from a return trip to the Murphy Center, right, Luan?
I believe they can do it. I promise you.
Yay! How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. What's your name, sir?
I am Deswick Bonds Jr.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to high school at DeSoto Central High School in South Haven, Mississippi.
All right. Nice to meet you. Enough from you. Let's get back to Lombardi. What happened?
Your video.
Oh.
And please get that off of there.
Okay. I just about I almost freaked out because I looked at that. I thought it was in real time. I looked back. Now, wait a minute. I have completely come unglued. Lawan, I was kidding you, sir, but I tell you, Southside, do you remember when Liberty boys won back-to-back state titles?
So I wasn't in high school then, but I remember they went on a run of like 2 or 3 championship runs. Right?
They won back-to-back, and you're right. Then a couple of years later, they won another one. But the Dexter Williams coach team that went back-to-back, people that didn't see them play missed out on a legendary team. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, it's similar to that with this team, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
With the Lady Hawks, because they're supremely coached by Brent McNeil, and they've got the talent and the togetherness. You need to see them play, folks, and the last chance to see them in this city, this particular team, because they have some seniors, is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. And we'll be there. You can listen here on News Talk 96.5 FM. Pardon me. I'll be there with the unit. He'll have the color commentary. And Damon Fuller, he's been calling the games with us. Coach Fuller.
He's awesome.
He is. We're talking great Americans. Mm-hmm. Coach, you would love these people. And Damon Fuller. What is Damon? Probably 6'6".
Yeah, I would say 6'6".
Yeah, he's a big one, as they say. And the sweetest guy you've ever met in your life. Great athlete in high school.
Yes.
And he put on a few pounds, and he's shedded some pounds. You seen him lately? So he gets back. He was squeezed into that Casati and Mantoni and Bertolini suits from next door at Cambridge. He was the best dressed coach in West Tennessee for years. He followed up the legendary T. Willie Tyson. Was T. Willie still there when you? He was already retired. Yeah. You know who I'm talking about? T. Willie Tyson.
No, sir.
This fits right into what we were talking about with these school teachers that really mold. Listen to Lawan talk about Damon Fuller and Brent McNeil. They make a difference, don't they?
Yes, sir.
They build a community.
They do.
He's a great coach, and he's also like a great motivator. They were my PE coaches as well.
Fantastic.
They're great role models for kiddos, aren't they? Damon Fuller was the best dressed coach in West Tennessee because his mentor, T. Willie Tyson, was the best dressed coach in West Tennessee. Now, that's according to me, but I've got a good eye for fashion. You probably picked up on that.
Yeah.
So then, but I was describing what Damon Fuller was wearing one night, and he's on the sideline. Now, I gave the starting lineup. I said the Southside Hawks. This is going back a few years. Coached by Damon Fuller, voted the best dressed coach in West Tennessee. And I described what he was wearing. He was wearing a Bertolini, and he had on a vest, and he also, I don't know what was up with that shorty tie he used to wear. Remember that, the shorty tie?
Yes.
I don't know what's up with that. And I said that on there, and I said, and Sarah Palin called. She wants her glasses back. And after the game, LaJuan, you'd have to know Damon Fuller. He's soft-spoken, and he's just, if you don't like Damon Fuller, it's like bacon. You either like bacon or you're wrong.
Right.
Same thing with Damon.
Right. Sounds like a great American.
Oh, he is a great American. And Brent is as well, Brent McNeil. And after the game, LaJuan, after I was talking about Sarah Palin wants her glasses back, Damon walks up. He's 6'6" now, and at the time, probably 270. He said, "Man, why are you making fun of my glasses?"
Oh man.
I said, "How did you know that?" He said, "My mom called. She was listening to the game." I said, "Don't trust her, Demond. I'm telling you, I didn't say that." They just like great sense of humor too. Well, okay, so Lawan, again, your last name?
King.
Lawan King.
Yes, sir.
And okay, now is it Deswick?
That's correct.
Okay, I thought I might be reading this incorrect. Deswick Bonds, or you go by LJ as well?
No.
That's you.
That's me. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. That's my bad, folks. That's not on them. Actually, it's Doc's fault. He messed us up. And this is Dr. Fowler. I know you guys met him, but
yeah,
he's. We have a mutual friend that said, "Hey, I got a great guest I think you'll like on your show." And I said, "Whatever, sure." And it was Doc, and he's fantastic. And so I invited him back again. Hub City Connect, Deswick, what is that?
So Hub City Connect started as an online community group on Facebook. It was gifted to us by Scott Parrish, and Scott says hello.
Oh, yeah, Scott Parrish.
Yes.
That's Scott Parrish, a friend of mine, Doc. He's a very good cook. What was he doing? A grown man cook or something like that?
Yes, grown man cook. Yes.
Yeah.
That was before he left Jackson.
Oh, I say he's a great friend of mine. I didn't know he left Jackson. I mean, I'm not a very good friend.
I wasn't supposed to say that. But he gifted us. I reached out to Scott and seen that he had an online community, and he heard my vision behind wanting to bring the community together and connect the community to local businesses, and just to bring an awareness to the local community. And Scott gifted us this community, and it started from there, and it's just taken off. That can be